Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Dipande Shrimati Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Krishna Prasthaya Dipande Shrimati Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Ora Karuna Sarupaya Radha Krishna Prasthaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadeko Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadeko Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Vasari Gauranga Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadeko Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Vasari Gauranga Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana
Gopala Govinda Rama
Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga. Ananda Paramahamsa Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Ananda Paramahamsa
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswaru Ananda Paramahamsa Jaya Jaya Siddhaswaru Ananda Paramahamsa
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Ora Karuna Surupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Ora Karuna Surupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya
Haribol Namaste. Let us continue our study program. To give a recap of what we have studied last time, it is about being in a way, or to be very clear, to have an environment where it is conducive, that our love, our heart, our mind, our whole focus can be enhanced. All what we see, what we hear, what we do should be under the guidance of our spiritual master, the Lord within the heart, guided by scriptures, and it is connected with the 9 process of devotional service. What we see, what we hear, because now in this material world, we are in this body, this machine made out of material energy. And this material energy covered us, has engulfed us. We are in an environment that is foreign to us. And what we hear is not really, mostly if it's connected with this world, it is not connected with us eternally. Either politics, either philanthropic activities, it is not our eternal activity, but it can be guided by our spiritual master. According to Krishna's will, we can engage in action in the service of the Supreme Person, Karma Yoga. So there's these 2 ways that we can be guided. The personal instruction according to our true nature. Another one is according to our tendencies. Being active by nature in this material world, we can be guided to be engaged in Karma Yoga. Now I'll read to you here the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So it can be a recall, a remembrance to guide us. It is a prayer of the confidential friend of Lord Krishna, the spiritual master. O merciful Lord Chaitanya, may the nectarian Ganges water of your transcendental activities flow on the surface of my desert tongue. Beautifying these waters are the lotus flowers of singing and dancing and loud chanting of Krishna's holy name, which are the pleasure abodes of unalloyed devotees. These devotees are compared to the swan and ducks and bees. The rivers flowing produces a melodious sound that gladdens their ears. So the transcendental holy names of God, non-different from the Supreme Person, the Supreme Purifier, the Supreme Enjoyer, the source of all transcendental pleasure, the cause of all causes. When one chants the holy names, that is given to us through oral reception by our spiritual master, it touches our heart. It connects our love, our whole being. It purifies us from this material conception of false bodily identification and material activities or misgivings that has covered us, that has separated us from this world of love. Our tongue always engage in vibrating useless sound that do not help us realize transcendental peace. The tongue is compared to a desert because a desert needs a constant supply of refreshing water to make it fertile and fruitful. Water is the most substance most needed in the desert. The transient pleasure derived from mundane topics of art, culture, politics, sociology, dry philosophy, poetry, and so on is compared to a mere drop of water because although such topics have a qualitative feature of transcendental pleasure, they are saturated with the modes of material nature. So the transcendental activities of the Sankirtan movement is beyond material consideration. It's not an activity of this material world. Therefore, neither collectively nor individually can they satisfy the vast requirements of the desert tongue. Despite crying in various conferences, therefore the desert tongue continues to be parched. For this reason, people from all parts of the world must call for the devotees of Lord Chaitanya who are compared to the swan swimming around the beautiful lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or bees humming around the lotus feet of the transcendental pleasure, searching for honey. The dryness of material happiness cannot be moistened by the so-called philosophers who cry for Brahman, liberation, and similarly dry speculative objects. The urge of the soul is proper. The urge of the soul proper is different. The soul can be solaced only by the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his bona fide devotees, who never leaves the lotus feet of the Lord to become imitation Mahaprabhus, but all cling to his lotus feet like bees that never leave the soaked lotus flower. So the pure devotee, the loving servant, the confidential loving servant, the spiritual master, his guidance connects us with this transcendental world of devotional service. So in a nutshell, the bottom line, very simple. When one comes in contact with the pure loving servant of God, the instruction he follows connects him with that world. He may be separated through geographical location. The spiritual master cannot be, maybe not in his presence physically, but that instruction is eternal and transcendental because it is connected with the Maha Mantra, the holy names of the Supreme Person, which is the cause of all causes. Everything that we desire for real transcendental happiness is connected with this instruction. So we can see the life of the confidential friend. He comes chanting the holy names. In Scripture, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. In the Christian teaching, O Lord, save me by thy name. In Psalm, I will sing and praise your name. Their heart, their life is connected with that world of transcendental happiness. This world, it is foreign to us. We are not this body. Material energy cannot really satisfy or fill up this thirst or quench this parched desert heart that we have. When we come to this world and we're covered by material nature, the separation now depends on how much the separation from this world of love and happiness depends on how much we have been covered, how much have we become contaminated by this disease of materialism, especially the false ego wherein we imitate God. We try to play the Lord by trying to dominate material nature, trying to use this vehicle as an avenue, the field of activity to have control. In the end, because even now, because we are not in a truest sense really connected eternally with this temporary flickering happiness, this temporary body, we are a different energy. We will understand that when we follow the instruction of Lord Krishna through the guidance of our Gurudev, that when we chant the holy names of God, it will purify our heart, it will purify our mind, it will direct our whole being towards that world of transcendental happiness. Now we can see the distinction between real life and a life that is dead. So material conditioning puts us in a world we are called the living dead. We are alive eternally, but we are dead because our source of happiness is dead matter. Either in the form of different forms we see, different bodies, it's all dead. What is life is the energy that is eternal, me, the person who is transcendental, and I should see, engage, and weigh, and see where and how much I am very far from this world of the oasis of that water that will quench my longing for this parched heart, this dry heart, this parched tongue. So we can see that the example are the eternal, confidential associates of the Supreme Lord. So when we read scriptures, we see the lives of the devotees. We see their transcendental happiness, ananda, bliss. Instead of trying to ascend, we should be receiving this descending process, this simple process, Krishna coming from the mouth, the lips of the pure devotee, and his guidance, so we can enter that world, that oasis. So we can check that in ourselves. So spiritual life, to make progress, we should be assessing, seeing our life. So when we see the life of, for example, the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan, when we hear it, their meditation, their whole life, their whole being, their breath, every cell in their body during that time is transcendental because it's Krishnaized. Their whole life, their whole being is in that world of pleasing the Supreme Person. Loving service to the Supreme Person is a connection between individuals, and this individual now is a Supreme Person. So when the devotee makes progress by following the instruction of the spiritual master, apprentice like us, when we read these pastimes of Lord Krishna, we can understand now that Lord Krishna, the Supreme Enjoyer, is being controlled by the devotee through that love. And then the Lord, who is the Supreme Enjoyer, enhances that love, separates himself from the vision of that devotee who is loving him. But he did not leave her presence, because at the time the Supreme Lord went to Dwarka, this devotee, this loving servant, her affection, her meditation has become so enthused, and it becomes more established in loving remembrance, in loving separation. And then that gives that person happiness, protection. She's not touched by this world. And Lord Krishna did not leave her. It is simply a way how Lord Krishna enjoys the love of his devotee, that loving relationship. And when we begin to appreciate that, instead of putting ourselves in a way to ascend and try to squeeze or in osmosis imagine that world, we should be following the instruction of our spiritual master, the Sankirtan movement that will purify us from this misgiving, that this separation from this word of love, this false ego must be eradicated completely and be purified, that it becomes our real transcendental ego, that I'm eternally the loving servant of God, and my focus should be to assess and see what distracts me, what separates me from that world, that this devotee who Lord Krishna, now during that time he left for Dwarka, he cannot be seen transcendentally in that place, but he's there because this transcendental personality, this our spiritual master in a truest sense, is completely in the world of loving meditation in separation of Lord Krishna 24/7. And during the time, it's 24/7 because it's in this material world. But in the spiritual world, there's no time. Time is only in this material world connected, and we are under the laws of time. So, transcendental, spiritual, eternal activity of loving devotional service is beyond time. So, when Lord Chaitanya came, he's in full meditation of remembrance of that world of that loving service of this personality who is completely surrendered, loving Lord Krishna in loving separation. And Lord Krishna enhances that loving attachment by being not in the presence of that devotee. But because we are now given this path of pure devotional service, a world that has no anxiety, the devotee, he may be feeling anxiety as what we can see and hear, but that anxiety is different. The anxiety is loving remembrance of the Supreme Person, thinking always of the Supreme Person, because during that time, they were in a situation wherein they can see Lord Krishna every day. Love Lord Krishna, serve Lord Krishna, protect Lord Krishna, serve in meditation, in real loving service every day. And he left that place. But now, they are saddened in transcendental sorrow, feeling separation. Their love has grown so strong. So instead of when we read these pastimes of Lord Krishna and see them in transcendent, we read that they're in this blissful transcendental happiness. Instead of using our mind to enter that world, we be filially, humbly listen to our spiritual master and receive Lord Krishna, the holy names that touches our heart, our whole being, that love that connects us. And we are now having this relationship with the confidential loving servant of Lord Krishna who guides us, our Gurudev, our spiritual master. So, the devotee, it's not important for him to try to be blissful, because that's exemplified here that when the rain comes, it moistens the whole place. It rains everywhere. The water is distributed. So when the holy names, the cause of all causes, Lord Krishna, is uttered by the devotee through his lips and enters the panel of the ear, Lord Krishna descends instead of trying to ascend. So now we should be longing how we can always be connected with doing and following lovingly, filially, obediently, faithfully the instruction of our spiritual master, even though physically he is not present. That should be our world. And because we are individuals, each of us has different relationship with the Supreme Person. But in this case, being lost in this world, we're given this opportunity now by Lord Krishna to enter that world of love. And he introduces his loving servant to us. So if we serve his loving servant, love his loving servant, our Gurudev, in that world of devotional service, it is about following his instruction. It's not a world of false ego, a world of trying to imitate the devotee or trying to portray how advanced we are. You know, it's not that world. To be sanctimoniously feeling holier than anybody because we chant, we're given this opportunity to hear our Gurudev. No, it's a different world. It's a world of humbleness and humility, a complete shelter that Lord Krishna, without you I have no protection without following the instruction of my spiritual master. Krishna, the Supreme Person, will be saddened and displeased. But if I follow the instruction of my Gurudev, automatically Krishna is pleased. We are blessed. That love that we discuss every day, when we read the scripture, we're able to enter that world and taste that water. Because that water, that oasis, will be moistening our tongue, will put us in a world and an environment of loving devotional service for the Supreme Person, and touched by the love, the instruction of our spiritual master. So in our daily activities, our meditation now is a word of life. Even though we know we fall far short, that our love is not that pure and perfect, but because we do understand that we have an eternal friend, someone who have unconditional love for us, who loves us eternally, who cares for us, who guides us, who comforts us. That Supreme Person, Lord Krishna, manifests when we follow the instruction of our Gurudev. So in short, the Maha Mantra, the instruction of our Gurudev, this parched tongue, this desert heart, this world of lifelessness, will be saturated now with this transcendental water. So when we chant the holy names of the Supreme Person, this empty heart that we have will become an oasis, and the ducks, the swan, will be swimming there who are transcendental, and our mind, which is a parched desert also, will be now a world wherein the ducks, all the creature, the swan, will be swimming, because the holy names will be there. What will come now is the descending pastimes, the memories that are transcendental, the pastimes of the Supreme Person, our relationship with our spiritual master in this dark world where we are blind. So we should be with wisdom. I'm blind. I cannot see. I'm in a desert. But He comes as the holy names. Through aura reception, I can see Lord Krishna, because He enters this desert heart. And the swan, the pastimes of the Supreme Person, will dance, will be manifested in my heart and in my mind. So the life of Lord Chaitanya is the perfect example of someone who will be the real transcendental example, who comes to this world in meditation, in loving separation, meditating upon that world, tasting the sweetness of loving devotional service. And also, he is the perfect example of someone who simply followed the instruction of his Gurudev, Ishvara Puri, the dear disciple of Madhavendra Puri. So the blessing comes when we follow the instruction of the dear loving servant of the Supreme Person. That should be our world, the world of life, the world of real happiness. And anything that separates us from that world, we should be now having this solution by taking shelter of the Supreme Purifier, the Maha Mantra. Haribol Namaste.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Gora Karuna Swarupaya
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prasayate
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Nitai Gorari Go, Nitai Gorari Go, Nitai Gorari Go.
Namaste. Thank you very much for taking part in this study program we're having. Haribol Namaste. See you again next time. Haribol.